Welcome to Ferris State University's Travel Readiness Training. The corporate card can be a useful tool in helping FSU employees make travel-related purchases. Among other items, the corporate card can be used to purchase conference registration, book airfare on hotels, and pay for rental vehicles. All purchases made on the corporate card must have a valid business purpose that supports the mission of the university and the corresponding departments. Use of the corporate card must also follow university and department policies. In this training module, you will learn how to access the transportation and travel policy. We will also cover many of the important components of this policy as it relates to business-related travel. The University Transportation and Travel Policy is the guiding light for the travel-related expenditures. This policy outlines allowable expenses, meals per diem, and allowances, proper documentation, and how to deal with a travel companion. It is your responsibility as a cardholder to read and understand the transportation and travel policy. The policy can be found on the Business Policy webpage as shown here. All travel must be authorized and pre-approved in advance of departure and prior to expenses being incurred. Ferris State University employees must use the Concur Travel Request System to electronically submit a travel request. Local and in-state travel must be authorized by your department's account manager. Out-of-state travel must be approved by the Vice President or his or her designee. Foreign travel, with the exception of Canada, must be approved by the respective VP of the division and the President of the university. Approvers may be added in the workflow of the travel request to ensure that the request goes through all necessary levels of approval. Whenever possible, travel arrangements should be made through Conlin Travel, the university's preferred travel agent. Arrangements through Conlin can be made online by accessing the Travel tab in the Concur system. Each traveler must submit a separate travel request and expense report for his or her own expenses. If necessary, expense reports can contain multiple trips. Corporate card charges not expensed within the 30 to 45-day reporting window may be deducted from an employee's paycheck. Please remember, payroll deduction will lead to suspension of all corporate card privileges per the cardholder abuse guidelines. The approved travel request should be attached to the expense report prior to submission for approval. This can be done electronically in the Concur expense reporting system. The university reimburses meals on a per diem or allowance basis for travelers. The corporate card may be used to purchase meals while on travel. However, these items must be marked as a personal expense on the employee's expense report so that the employee is not reimbursed twice for the meal. A full schedule of per diem rates can be found in Appendix A of the Transportation and Travel Policy. Claiming per diem requires an employee to create an itinerary that they can assign to his or her expense report. For an explanation on how to do this, please refer to the Expense Process Quick Reference Guide in the Concur Expense and Travel channel on MyFSU. The corporate card is to be used for university business, and the university does not reimburse for spousal or companion travel expenses unless otherwise authorized. Therefore, the corporate card should not be used to pay for these expenses. If spousal or companion expenses are to be reimbursed, an employee must submit an authorization request form to the Vice President of his or her division. This form is embedded within the Business and Special Expense Policy. There are times when a spouse's or a companion's expenses are intermingled and it is not reasonable or practical to separate card charges. If such expenses are made incidentally on the corporate card, they must be marked as a personal expense and the balance must be paid back to the university within 7 days. The university carries a group travel insurance policy that provides coverage for full-time employees and trustees. Any accident insurance offered by vendors, such as rental car insurance, should not be purchased. Before embarking on cross-country or international travel, cardholders should call 1-800-270-7760 to inform JP Morgan of the travel. Doing so will reduce the possibility that your transactions on your card will be flagged as potential fraud. Cards that are flagged for potential fraud are temporarily closed by JP Morgan and cannot be used until the bank is contacted and a temporary temporary closure status is lifted. In addition to fraud protection, JP Morgan offers stranded traveler services. A stranded cardholder is defined as any cardholder who is unable to make legitimate travel purchases due to account credit limits, delinquency status, a lost or stolen card, or an MCC misclassification. If you experience a card decline for such a charge while on travel, please call 1-800-270-7760. JP Morgan may temporarily raise your limits or override the MCC mismatch to ensure that the transaction is approved on your card. After the transaction is completed, financial services should be notified by the cardholder that a limit or MCC was temporarily raised or added to his or her card. Please note, stranded traveler services only apply to travel-related expenditures such as hotels and airfare. Non-travel-related expenditures that result in declines are not covered by this service. Prior to the start of your trip, it is a good idea to double-check the following items. Doing so should help minimize inconveniences and interruptions during your trip.